I would like to call this evening's meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals to order. We have to wait until 7:04 with official notices to address our first agenda item for all of you. So,
4 minutes to talk to you.
Bob Manning and I attended an update meeting for the 0 Summer Street 40B apartment complex. It allows 25% affordable housing a few weeks ago, and if you want to just give a short impression of that.
Richard and I attended a meeting of the town boards with 0 Summer Street, which is now called 421 Summer Street. The treasurer's office needed a number instead of 0, so good representation from the developer and all of the associated businesses associated with this development, along with good representation of the town, representation from the police, fire, and the building department, and all the other departments that are involved in this development. It appears that construction will start sometime in November of this year. It'll be done in 2 phases of the building. The building is developed in a long rectangle U shape, like a number 3. So they're going to develop the first bottom half of number 3, which is basically from the MBTA parking lot going towards Summer Street. The first L will be built with a firewall, and then the firewall amendment a year later will be ended, and the second half of the building will be built after that. So it was a very, very well attended meeting. A lot of good representation, a lot of good information was explained. We also had good back and forth conversations about anticipations and needs and wants of our departments and their ability to respond to our department. So it looks like we have a good start to the program. They have submitted their final paperwork and are waiting for final approvals, and it looks like come this November we'll see some work going on around that property between Progress and Summer and the MBTA parking lot and the MBTA trains. So that project is going forward, and it looks like it's on track. And they did reach out and make a nice presentation and explanation, and each of the individual construction segments spoke on their behalf of what they were doing and how they were doing it, and answered any questions that our people had. So I found it very interesting, and it's a good start to a program for the town. So we'll see how it goes forward, but you can expect something to be seen going on that property by November 1st of this year. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We gotta wait another minute till it's 7:04.
I can talk in another minute.
Okay.
Roses are red, violets are blue. We're going to talk for another minute. That's what I do too. So
It's now 7:04.
7:04.
see that?
That's enough.
Shut up, man.
All right. I think we should wait on meeting minutes from last time until
Please.
Yeah.
we're here. So for tonight, the first item on our agenda is the petition of J.C. Morris Irrevocable Home Trust for a variance under Section 175-29 dimensional and density regulations to allow for a 10-foot side setback for a 16 by 56 addition. The property is located at 83 Crabtree Lane on Assessor's Map 44, Lot 122 in the residential R30 zone. So if we have someone up already. Please state your name and address for us, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Attorney Sean Riley, 500 Washington Street in Abington Center, representing J.C. Morris Irrevocable Home Trust, and more specifically Jim and Camille Morris. Mr. Morris is here in the back row. Happy to have him here tonight. For the viewers at home, if you see the zoning board sweating later tonight, it's only because the air conditioning is not working in this room, full disclosure. You may have recognized this property and this proposal because the Morris family was here in January asking for a special permit to build an in-law addition to their existing home at 83 Crabtree Lane, along with a side yard setback variance. The side yard requirement is 20 feet. Their proposed addition was going to be 10 feet off the lot line. The board approved both the in-law special permit and the side yard setback, 10-foot setback, for what was submitted to you as a 16 by 48-foot addition. Unfortunately, there was 2 sets of construction plans, and I'll say I submitted the wrong one. I was given the wrong one. So when the building permit application was later submitted, the appeal period went by and everything. Building permit application was filed, and the building department picked up the discrepancy. The true plan should have been It's not 16 by 48, but 16 by 56, an additional 8 feet. Unfortunately, that additional 8 feet is not just a minor difference. Usually the board, as you know, approves plans in substantial conformity with the submitted plan. I met with the building department, and, you know, had it been an 8-inch difference or an 18-inch difference, they may have allowed the building permit, but 8 feet was just something that we needed to stop the project, resubmit an application, re-notify the neighbors, publish a notice, have a public hearing, and before you now is the exact same proposal, except it shows the 16-foot by 56-foot addition. It's still a 10-foot side yard variance, because you can see on the plan, it pretty much just follows the same line. The extra 8 feet is essentially needed. As you may recall, Mrs. Morris is in a wheelchair, and so they need to make sure that they have enough room for her to be, of course, mobile, and I'm sure Mr. Morris would like some room. Exactly, the shower takes up space, room around the beds, all of that. I know the board's aware of some of the ADA requirements. Just for the record, I submitted some information about the medical hardships that the Morris family is going through, but just to also repeat the argument for the variance, we don't need another special permit. That's already been issued, that's already been recorded, that's all set. What we're looking for is a new variance to be approved per the new plan, and we need to show a hardship for the setback. So as we argued before, we can't really build off the existing house out the back, because if we did, we'd encroach into the floodplain wetland protection area, which would require yet another permit, a special permit. But even more difficult, it would require Mr. and Mrs. Morris to physically cut through the main house, go through the living room to get to their in-law. So there'd be substantial renovation and kind of disturbance of the family house. So the thought was, and what was previously approved, was the addition on the back of the garage, which is located on the left side of the house as you're looking from it. That benefit gives them the opportunity that even in the worst of weather, they can pull into the garage and get right into their in-law without cutting through the main house. There's no change to the street view of the existing house. So it's kind of a win-win-win for the main house and for the in-law apartment. They have their own privacy, but yet their son and daughter-in-law who will be living in the main house will be able to assist mom and dad as they go through their trials and tribulations and hopefully enjoy the rest of their life together with the 3 generations that will be living at this property. As we pointed out also earlier, our abutter directly near us has, fortunately, their house is set back far off this sideline, so it's not kind of building on top of our neighbor. It does comply with also the requirement that it be less than 900 square feet. We're actually at 896 square feet, so no variance needed there. So due to the fact of the location of the house, the location of the floodplain, I submitted a copy of the floodplain map, and I submitted a copy of an updated plot plan. We would ask that the board approve the 10-foot variance to allow the construction of the addition as shown on the submitted plan, which I believe is dated May 2nd, 2024. If you have any questions, myself and Mr. Morris are more than happy to answer.
Going forward or going back is the additional?
Going back behind the garage.
Going behind the garage?
So, again, the facade of the house, as you drive by, you wouldn't see any changes. Everything will be to the rear of the garage, the rear of the mudroom area.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions for Mr. Riley? Attorney Riley, I should say.
I have no questions.
I have no further questions.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this matter? You don't have to if you don't want to. Okay. Then could I would entertain a motion?
Want to call it back?
Huh?
Want to call it back?
Yeah. We need a motion.
Motion to call it back from the public?
Close the hearing.
Close the hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so it's just discussion amongst the board here. This looks like we're correcting a,
Administrative mistake,
yeah,
basically.
because it doesn't really change what we based our
No, they checked all the,
Granting
they
of-
checked all the boxes initially, so.
the
they can-
variance before, so
We'll
I
continue
don't
to
see any
do so.
reason to not grant this.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion, I guess.
Introduce it.
Okay, on the petition of J.C. Morris Irrevocable Home Trust for variance under section 175-29 to allow for a 10-foot side setback for a 16 by 56-foot addition. I move that we grant the variance and that the addition be built in substantial compliance with the plans submitted with the petition. The plan is dated May 2nd, 2024.
Second then.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for your time.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
We'll get it right this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
I don't hear so well, so I think I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
Sign language. Sign language.
All right. The second item on our agenda this evening is the petition of Julio Martinez, I hope I didn't butcher that too badly, for a special permit under the following Section 175-21 Table of Use Regulations. Principal uses A, residential uses, subsection 4, multifamily, to legalize a third unit. The property is located at 883 Bedford Street on Assessor's Map 53, Lot 281, in the Highway Commercial Zone. And I would invite you to come up and tell us your name and address.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Julio Martinez. Live on 882 Bedford Street, Abington. We've been there for 15 years in the property with my family, and we are looking to legalize the attic space in the property, just so we can, get everybody the way it should be according to the zoning laws and all that. Though. So I submitted all the requirements for the building department.
How long ago did you update the attic space?
When we moved in, it was already kind of built there. We just probably like, wow, the partitions were there. We just kind of moved into there with the family pretty much. And then with my one of my family member came in. He moved into the second floor, and then we were kind of tighten the space, so we kind of moved to the attic ourselves. My family, my kids were little at the time, so we've been there since.
So when you bought the house, you were living on the first floor?
We were living on the first floor, and
then your cousin
we
moved to the second
moved to the
floor.
second floor, and then
And
one of
then
my relatives moved, and
A
then
decision was made to go to the third floor
the-
and finish it?
correct to yeah
To make it into a
to
third?
make it into a.
So you added a kitchen, another bathroom, a bedroom?
They had a little like kitchenette already in place. They had gas already there, so everything.
So when you
was-
bought it, that was already in place?
Correct. We had it, all that was already in there, though, so.
So then you rented out the first floor?
Correct.
You had your cousin on the second floor, and you moved to the third
And
floor?
then we lived on
And you've
there.
been living that way ever since?
Yeah.
How long has that been?
Probably maybe 13, 14 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on the.
So what brought you here tonight then? Why did you have to file for a special
Yeah,
permit?
we put the windows in there, and then, they went.
So you
and
applied for a
inspected-
building,
yeah,
you applied
yeah.
for a building permit for
Correct,
windows?
for windows, and we applied for roof and for windows, and they went in and
And
they
then they
checked it.
saw
And they saw
triggered.
that, and,
Okay.
they went in and inspected it, and the inspector went to the third floor and checked everything out, so, and they advised, make sure that it's
When you purchased it, did you think it was a two-family or a three-family?
a three-family.
You thought it
Because the way it was with the stairs and everything on the back.
Do you know what it was advertised as far as, with a real estate agent? Do you know if it was advertised as a two-family or a three-family?
I think it was a two with like an in-law on the third,
Yeah.
something like that, yeah. It was a long time ago. though.
Yeah, I understand. So now on the third floor, you're gonna have 3 bedrooms?
Yes, yeah.
Or you have 3 bedrooms?
We have,
In a full kitchen?
in the full kitchen, yeah, I mean, they,
How many bathrooms?
one bathroom.
One bathroom.
Each apartment has one bathroom.
So the unit now has an unfinished basement?
It has a partial unfinished and partial is finished though. We.
So there's not a fourth unit on the?
No, that's just now. It's
So
just-
you have a somewhat finished basement with a first floor tenant, a second floor tenant, and you're
and
living in the
myself.
third floor?
That's it, yeah. That's exactly what it is.
And you've had it inspected for fire escapes,
Yes, yeah, I had to get that, you know,
the affidavit, yeah.
correct. Yeah, they came out a couple of weeks. Yeah, the inspector advised, you know, put all that into currency and with the exam.
No, some discussion amongst us, but, I mean, I assume people have been parking there for a while. Do you know if it complies with the parking requirements for a 3-unit?
Well, that was one of the concerns, but I brought a contractor and based on the, it has on the back of the property, as you can see from the printout, there's enough space to take half of the yard, because that yard, I live on the 3rd floor, but we have a deck, I mean, it should be there too.
Yep.
And the permit for that, we pulled it out. So we live on the 3rd floor with access to the backyard, and it's kind of mine. So when the contractor came to give me an estimate for the driveway, I mentioned that we're gonna need enough space for like 10 vehicles. And he's like, yeah, well, we're just gonna take, you know, most of the yard, which is fine, as long as we bring everything in compliance for that also.
So at the rear of the house, from your deck out to the back of your end of your property, you're gonna make that parking?
Correct, we're gonna add additional parking into.
So the parking that happens now in the front of the house will now go to the side of the
Yeah,
house?
correct, it'd be just
into
like
the rear?
a driveway in and all the, in the back, we're gonna.
Okay, so that should eliminate any of the parking on the grass in the front and all that stuff like that?
Absolutely, yeah.
And you have an anticipated time frame when that's gonna take place?
Well, he was gonna, believe it or not, he was gonna do it, but and the town inspector said, you gotta wait, you gotta bring this to.
So you gotta wait for the
guys'
permit to get
attention."
issued?
Yeah, bring it to your attention and get the approvals, and, I mean, you know, bring all that, so that's why we,
So if I get this correctly, you've been living on the 3rd floor for a little over 10 years. It was a 3-bedroom. When you bought it, it had frame structured for a 3rd floor unit. You were living on the 1st floor, you moved to the 3rd floor, you rented out the 1st floor and the 2nd floor to your cousin. You've been living on the 3rd floor for over a decade, and you went to change the windows, applied for a building permit, and all this came up about that it's an
Correct.
illegal third,
correct, they came out and inspected and they said.
and
you know.
that's the need for a special permit. I'm good, Mr. Chairman.
And any questions from you?
Right now, I
No, I don't have any more questions. Is there anyone else here who would like to come up and speak on this matter? Okay, and maybe a motion. Oh, you can come up. Just,
Name and address, please.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just come up to the
I'm the
mic.
property owner next door to Helio, and he's been a very good neighbor, and I don't think anything's really gonna change, so I have no problems with his legalizing the unit.
Could you give us your name and address, please?
My name is Stephen Hitchcock, 467 Pond Street in South Weymouth.
Okay.
But I own 889 Bedford Street, I'm the
Okay.
property owner.
Right.
Okay,
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, motion to close the public?
Motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So the standard for the special permit, just so we are reminded. Let's see. Authorize a use which would not be allowed generally or without restriction throughout any particular zoning district, but which, if controlled as to the number, area, location, relation to the neighborhood, and other characteristics, would not be injurious to the public health, safety, welfare, morals, order, comfort, convenience, appearance, prosperity, or general welfare. So as long as we find that, then we're okay in issuing a special permit.
Thank you for pointing that out.
And also, you can take into account that the requested use will not overload any public water, sewer, drainage system. I mean, he's been there for this number of years in the same position.
So,
Won't create any undue traffic congestion,
Actually, will improve.
unduly impair sight lines or traffic, hinder pedestrian safety,
right.
so.
Again, I think this is kind of straightforward. think the only condition I would consider putting on this is that he has to address the parking issue before it gets, he has to get this done first and then address the parking issue to satisfy the building department.
That's fine, I think that's a fine condition.
What do you think, Bob?
Yeah, I know the property very well. I've been driving by it for 30 years, so it's not like I don't know the property. The driveway is the important factor to me. It will remove the cars from the front of the house, which will be a nice thing to have. Since it's been going on for over a decade, I feel bad that we didn't catch it before. No offense to anyone, but I wish we had caught this earlier. But I thank the abutter for stepping up and speaking on your behalf.
Yes.
I think it's important to understand that that basement doesn't become nothing at all unless you come back in front of us for another.
Yeah.
All right? Other than that, I find that your statement, Andy, is quite clear, and I believe the neighborhood, given the fact that we have a multi-development area in that area, along with commercial right next door, I don't have a problem with that finding, so.
Okay. Any other discussion? I don't have any more. Entertain a motion at this point if somebody wants to make one.
I'll make a motion on the petition of Helio Martinez for a special permit under the following: Section 175-21, Table of Use Regulations. Principal uses A, residential uses subsection 4, multifamily, to legalize a third unit. Property is located at 883 Bedford Street on Assessors Map 53, Lot 281, in the Highway Commercial Zone. I move that we approve the special permit with the condition that, how did you want to term that?
That parking adequate for 3 living units is provided on the property and is allowed by the building department.
Okay, so that would be part of my motion.
Right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I'll be getting back to you with a document that says that this was approved and you can move forward.
And I also like you to be in contact with the building department and let them know the dates and times when the driveway is going to get amended.
Absolutely.
Please, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to make a note here and we'll go on to the next item. Okay. Third item on our agenda is the petition of Andrew Resendiz, okay. Didn't butcher it horribly, but somewhat, I apologize. For a finding under MGL Chapter 40A, Section 6, for a 12 by 24 new addition with 4-foot frost wall and slab to add a living room. The property is located at 41 Captain Standish Drive on Assessor's Map 25, Lot 23, in the residential R30 zone. Please give us your name and address and what you'd like to do.
Andrew Resendiz. I live at 41 Captain Standish Drive. I would like to, like you said, add a 12 by 24 addition. The area that is currently, that I want to put the addition is occupied by a deck. When I purchased the house, that deck was there. The deck is at the point that it needs to be like demolished. It needs to be updated. Something needs to be done with the deck. It's kind of falling apart. So in the exploration of what I'm going to do, my wife and I decided that we want to do an addition for additional living space to replace the footprint of the deck.
Okay. So, trying to understand here why they would have to give a finding for this. I'm going to refer to my notes from, it's a pre-existing non-conforming lot.
Pre-existing
so-
non-conforming, that's structure, that's a single family, so
Right, so we have to,
the finding is that it is not.
regardless of what they do, we would have to, approve a finding in order for them to be
For them
allowed
to-
to
right.
replace the deck with
Yep.
the addition.
The finding standard is that the change is not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood. So that's
Right.
really all we have to find.
Right.
And if we find that, then he can go forward.
What's going to be in the addition? What's the structural frame out of the addition that you provided instruction for? I got the outside dimensions. What is the plan with the inside floor? You're going to add a bathroom, you're going to add living space?
No, it's just gonna be like a living space.
Living space.
Yeah, nothing, no plumbing, just electrical for outlets and lighting.
Okay. It was noted by the building department that if this should go forward, the building department will require a foundation as-built plan, because it's abutting Brockton Edison electric easement to your property. So
Correct.
you would have to provide that to the building department also if this gets approved.
Okay.
All right? It just means that reinforcement wall is gonna have to be different than a standard foundation because of the easement to that property.
Yep.
If they have to excavate or dig, you can't be affected by the excavation or dig. So it's gonna be specifics you're gonna need to follow with that certain side of the foundation.
Okay.
So,
So what makes this non-conforming is it's an R30 zone, and the lot is only 23,345.
Doesn't even meet the square footage. of
Right,
it.
so that's why it's non-conforming.
Well,
so basically, they can't do anything
Right.
with this. Right. Okay. Yeah. I don't really have any questions of them. I think he made a good point with the as-built foundation. There's been a lot of issues coming up with that. And so the building department is really all over as-built foundation drawings being accurate or necessary and therefore accurate.
It probably, speaking out of turn, it's just important that your builder work with the building department before they do anything on the ground side to make sure they meet the standards by which the Edison would have a problem with what you did. And you don't want that, because they dig, they if they have to, they will have to, so.
That's what
I know on our property, it's, the pole is across the street and then behind my lot and the lot behind me. So it would just be the lines running through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite possible, but if, let's just say a traumatic storm hit, and they have to come in and move the line 2 feet closer to your house.
Yep.
That foundation has to withstand the pressure of the pole and all the stuff that's going with it structurally, so. And basically, it was a porch, a deck, and now you want to enclose it. It's a family room. You're not adding any more water use of it. It's just electrical use. It's fully closed in. It's an open source space for the family. I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Andy, do you have any further
I'm all
questions?
set, thank you.
Anyone in the audience like to speak on this issue? Okay. Then maybe a motion to close the public part of the
I
hearing?
wish motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is another one of those that seems pretty straightforward, especially since there's an existing structure there.
Yep.
And requiring them to, or advising them to be in close contact with the building department relative to that easement is a very, very good idea. So he's been so advised.
So that's the only thing that I would add, Mr. Chairman, if we go ahead and allow for this finding, is that we mentioned that the petition, the building department will require those foundation as-built plans to be submitted.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion on this matter?
Oh,
My
Michael?
turn?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're good. You're
On
on a
the
roll today.
On the petition of Andrew Resendez for a finding under Mass General Laws, Chapter 48, Section 6, for a 12-foot by 24-foot new addition with 4-foot frost wall and slab to add a living room. I move that we approve, that we issue the finding that the addition is not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood.
Second?
Second. I just want to mention that I'd like to add, once again, that requires the foundation as-built plan to be submitted to the building department because of the issue with the Brockton Edison.
All in favor as amended by Mr. Manning?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. You'll be hearing from Marion probably next week.
Yeah, make sure you contact them. If you haven't heard from them by Friday, make sure you contact the building department next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you haven't heard from them. I think she'll be all over it, but I just want to make sure you understand that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you, good luck.
Yeah.
Stay cool.
Unlike here.
That's right.
We're trying to get through this relatively,
We got one more.
get one more here.
One more.
Thank you for your patience.
And this one's about a pool, so we can think about being cool.
Well, look at the invitation, that's all.
All right, the final agenda item this evening is for the consideration of the petition of Carrie Hallahan for a finding under Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 6, for a 16 by 34 in-ground swimming pool. The property is located at 26 Jennings Drive on Assessor's Map 13, Lot 25, in the residential R30 zone. If somebody would come up, just tell us your name and address and why you're here, and we can go from there.
Good evening, guys. How are you?
Good evening.
My name is Brian Conley. I'm married to Carrie Hallahan Conley,
Okay.
and I thought I'd buy her a pool.
That's very nice of you.
Very nice.
You guys are all welcome. Last week in August would definitely be a pool day if this is passed.
That fast?
I'm digging the day I can.
Okay. So all you're doing is looking to put a pool in?
Yes, sir.
Same issue, because this is an
Because it's our,
R30 zone, and it's
And
only
the lot size is too small.
25,533 square
Yeah.
feet. It's a making a non-conforming,
more non-conforming, thank you.
Just reminding myself of these already.
Are there any issues where you plan to put the pool as far as elevation or water retention or anything like that at all?
No.
No?
The grade of my yard goes drastically down.
Away?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm assuming there's other pools in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not going to be more detrimental that you have one pool when nobody else has a pool? That's,
They just got theirs in before I think this all changed.
okay.
I'm sure the building department will, have all the requirements for electrical connections and all that.
That'll all be
That's their deal to deal with, not ours.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, that's the other, I guess that's the one thing that Marion did raise. I guess the initial plan said 16 by 34, but you're looking for a 16 by 36? Is that,
I didn't have a copy of the original plan. My pool builder had to go get it. When I thought I was gonna walk in here and walk out with a permit,
yeah,
I was digging that day.
Okay.
So I asked my builder, get me what I need. He goes, this is the pool I'm doing now in Weymouth. It's basically the same thing, a few feet bigger.
okay. So,
But
but
I
you're
came back with
you're
the
looking for a
price.
16 by 36, not
Yes,
a
sir.
16 by 34? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, Marion says, as a finding as required, I do not foresee any issues with the measurements.
As far as the extension of the 2
Yeah,
feet?
yeah.
Okay.
Is there any further questions?
I have no.
I have none. Thank
I
you,
don't
Mr.
either.
Chairman.
Motion to close the public part of the hearing?
Do we open it?
Oh, you're gonna, actually, you have to ask if there's any.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this matter?
No complaints.
Yeah. All right.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, this-
So again, the standard is the change not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood, and I think,
I can't imagine that adding,
I don't think so.
a nice in-ground pool is
Yeah,
gonna
it's not
do
going to be
that.
detrimental to the neighborhood, so, my opinion. So I'll make a motion on the petition of Kerry Hallahan for a finding under Mass General Laws, Chapter 48, Section 6, for a 16 by 36-foot in-ground swimming pool. Property is located at 26 Jennings Drive on Assessors Map 13, Lot 25, in the R40 zone, that we issue a finding that the pool addition is not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood.
Second.
All in favor of the petition?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried, and you'll be receiving paperwork hopefully next week from Mary Ann.
You can reach out first thing Monday morning,
Thank you.
I believe. But
Good
there
luck
should be
with
no
it.
issues. Good luck.
you
I hope the digging goes smooth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's the only one, because I've dug in this town before, and it's not that simple.
I know it's in the backyard.
Okay.
Whoever built that neighborhood very well sorts of stuff, and I've already done it.
That's what I'm telling you.
I did an exploratory day,
Okay.
and
It's clean so far?
it's clean so far. I found some asphalt.
Okay, I'm on 34 R Street, and I dug in my backyard. That's where I found it also, so, and it shouldn't have been there. It's a meadow, for God's sakes. So, good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Get cool quickly.
I hope so.
Entertain a motion to close the meeting
Motion to close the meeting.
or adjourn?
Second.
All in favor of adjourning the meeting?
Aye.
We are adjourned.